opening days of the American Revolution, the British Army of Occupation was trapped in Boston by a ragtag assortment of colonial militia. Disorganized, untrained, and badly led, they also lacked the shot and powder necessary to hold off what was then the finest army in the world. In a desperate attempt to solve this problem, small parties were sent out into the surrounding countryside to bring back whatever supplies could be found. One of these groups was led by Philip Kent.
Kent, we're gonna have to slow down. There isn't much left in these nags.
That powder is desperately needed, Fred. We must keep moving.
Maybe we can get a fresh team in Lexington. Lobsterback cavalry behind us.
Keep that wagon moving.
Yeah, get out there.
It's no use. We can't outrun them. We best stand and fight.
We're outnumbered.
Well, your options, friend, are few unless you prefer being shot in the back. Keep moving.
Yeah, get out. Go on, babe.
Patrol, halt.
A trade, rebels. Your lives for the wagon. Stand aside and live.
If you want the wagon, Captain, you may have it. That is after you have done with us.
Then be damned to you all. Better swordsman than I would have expected from a Yankee merchant. But that wagon is, I believe, more important to both of us. Another time, perhaps.
So I lost everything, sir. 10 barrels of powder and 200 weight of shot.
At Bunker Hill, we lost a battle for want of that powder before you could have delivered it.
Are we finished then, sir?
Finished? Hell no. We've just begun to fight. But beginnings in matters like this come hard. And speaking of beginnings, your wife is with child, is that so?
Aye, sir. She's in Watertown. In good hands when I left her there.
Then take a week and go see her.
Is there time, sir?
Aye. We need to do a lot of hard thinking before the fighting begins again. And we're getting a new commander. Colonel Washington of Virginia. He's coming up from Philadelphia to take charge. So go, rest while you can. We'll have need of you later.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, if it ain't the black sheep of Caroline County.
If you're a patriot, you're riding the wrong direction, Mr. Fletcher.
What's all the excitement about?
Prince William Company's putting together at Captain McLean's plantation.
We're aiming to march up to Boston town and help them Yankees keep King George on his own side of the ocean.
A worthy enterprise, to be sure.
Why don't you come with us?
I've been thinking on it.
But your daddy being a Tory persuasion kind of keeps it lingering. That it? Or is it all them lonely wives at Caroline County you can't bear to leave behind?
You got a nasty mind at times, F.
Yep, I do at that.
I wish you all well.
I do at that. Hi, boys. Come on.
I've been waiting an hour, Judson Fletcher.
My dear father was lecturing me again. Doesn't have much opinion of me, you know.
And with good reason, if you ask me.
Now, don't you start lecturing me, Charlotte. I just couldn't stand it from anyone who looks as desirable as you do today.
Just today, Judson? Only today?
Every day.
Well, you know damn well we don't see each other every day. It's been 2 whole weeks now.
Well, it isn't all that simple now, is it?
Well, it could be. If you didn't have other things on your mind. Like Peggy McLean. Yes, I know about it. The whole county knows about it. How you want her, how you pine after her.
Charlotte, you know better than to talk about.
What I know about is that you make love to me and you're thinking about her. Isn't that what you do? Isn't it? Judson, I didn't mean what I said. I spoke too sharp. Please. Come love me. I need you.
I'm rather afraid we've just been found out, Mrs. Waverly.
Your pleasure, Mr. Waverly.
Need you ask, Shaw? Mrs. Waverly first, I think.
Very good, sir.
Yeah. Looks like this could get a mite nasty. You and I have a lot in common, Shaw. Nobody's really going to miss us if we should happen to leave this good earth rather suddenly.
He's unarmed. You want to add murder to your adultery, Fletcher? Let him up. Charlotte, get on your horse. When a man takes another man's wife, whether he cares or not, it's a matter of honor. I shall enjoy killing you, Fletcher. And I do demand satisfaction.
Now, Ambrose, don't start acting like a damn
You'll
fool.
deny me satisfaction?
Nicely done. Are you sure that won't satisfy you, Ambrose?
My brother John will call. Charlotte?
A duel. Daddy's really gonna love this.
Annie? Mrs. Rumpel? Annie?
You can't. Your wife's sleeping.
Mrs. Rumpel, I want to see her. It's been 3 weeks now.
Took time off from that stupid war, eh? Well, see her you shall, but first we'll talk.
Mrs. Rumpel.
You just come with me.
Please, I've written...
You just sit down there. Do as I say.
Is something wrong with that?
There are complications.
What sort of complications?
She's had a fever and can't get rid of it. You know, I'm just a midwife. We need a real doctor.
Then why hasn't she seen a doctor, Mrs. Rumpel?
Because they're no better than the rest of you. Off to that war in Boston town.
Mrs. Rumpel?
Oh, Annie.
I was so worried about you.
Worried about me? It's you who's having the baby.
I'm going to market. Will you be staying for supper?
Mrs. Rumpel, I'll be staying a whole week of suppers.
A week?
I'll be back later. A whole lot later.
That's my baby.
And I'll say it again. There will be no duel.
The damn fool left me no choice, Father. It's a matter of honor now.
Honor? Huh. Don't prattle to me about honor. Where is the honor of betting another man's wife and then killing him in the bargain? I tell you this, lad. Waverly has got you this time. No matter which way it goes, you cannot win.
And I will not have my heir, the heir to Sermon Hill, be made a fool of, or a murderer.
Or a coward.
You lost the best woman in the colony as a wife because of your own stupidity and lust. Is that not so?
It is so, Father. But what do you grieve for most? Peggy or her land added to your own?
Both. But she could have given me bonny fine grandchildren. Far more important than her property to an old man with an only son who seems bent on destroying himself.
Your faith in me is a wonder to behold.
But true, lad. For 2 years since Peggy became Mrs. McLean, with drink and women, you've done your very best to ruin yourself. Now, enough is enough. Time to stop feeling sorry for yourself. A war coming. A bad one. Not a time for a man to be bemused with his own problems. I mean, such a man could very easily fall victim to both sides.
When it comes to that, Father, I know which side I'm on.
Another of your insane follies. They go against your king and your country.
This is my country, not England. And as for kings, I do recollect your rebellion against the king 30 years ago is how you became a Virginian very suddenly.
Laddie, we fought because we were young and foolish. But to replace a German usurper with a rightful king, our own Bonnie Prince Charlie, as they call him. But you young fools, you don't want a king at all. A king you must have.
And why must we have a king?
Well, because without a king, there's no social order. Without that, there's no law to protect a man, his property.
Ah, that's what worries you. Your precious property.
Aye. And so should it you.
I mean, what is the point of life if a man can't hold the fruits of his labor?
But without liberty, life has little meaning.
Liberty. A catchphrase used to stir up trouble among the poor who hate us and envy our success.
You're wrong, Father. You have too little faith in your fellow man. Think of this. Without liberty and freedom, you possess nothing, except by the pleasure of the king and his ministers and the English Parliament. And that is the same as to possess nothing at all.
No, you don't understand, laddie. I built all of this, which you assume by right. But we're off the subject, huh? There'll be no duel tomorrow.
Wrong, Father. There will be a duel. Hopefully, however, there will be no killing.
As my second, Peter, I think you should know my mind in this matter. In case anything happens, that is.
It is customary in these affairs.
Between us, there can be no doubt I was in the wrong.
You were that, Judson. Completely in the wrong.
Thank you. At any rate, I shall let Ambrose fire first. If I survive his shot, I shall miss him by design. That should satisfy everybody's honor.
It's a noble plan, Judson. Especially since Ambrose is probably the worst shot in the county. I'll ride on ahead, Judson.
Thank you, Peter.
Mr. McLean?
Mr. Jennings?
It's been a long time, Peggy.
Yes, it has. I understand Peter's to be your second.
Second? What second?
Don't play games with me, Judson. The whole county knows about the duel and the reason for it.
You do still care, don't you, Peggy? That girl meant nothing to me. It just happened.
Just like Charlotte.
Yes, just like Charlotte. Didn't mean anything. Nothing at all.
I understand that now. But at the time, my pride was more important.
So you married Seth and ruined both of our lives.
Some things cannot be undone. They have to be lived with. But if you fight Ambrose, it will destroy you, no matter how it turns out. Judson, please don't do it.
It's just as you said, Peggy. There are some things that cannot be undone.
Ambrose, I don't really think this is a very good idea. Are you sure we can't talk it over?
Let's just get on with it, Fletcher.
You start back to back from here, gentlemen. At the count, you begin your paces. At 10, you turn and fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Judson, watch him!
Ambrose, don't!
No!
John, my quarrel was with your brother. Don't make it yours. Throw your gun down.
I'll avenge him one day, Judson Fletcher.
Throw it away, John, or I'll kill you. Now ride off. Tell your lies.
They weren't very honorable, were they? Damn fool. If he'd played fair, we both would have lived.
Peter.
Go north. With the militia to Boston. There's nothing left for you here. Nothing.
It won't be long before I'll send for you. And you'll be among a new aristocracy. Politicians, generals. Your husband included.
Take care of yourself.
Don't worry, I'll be fine. My command will be fine. Our ranks have grown, I see.
Yes, it appears so.
Doesn't it?
One thing keeps gnawing at my gut about leaving the family over this ruckus against the king.
What's that?
Just feels a mite cozier knowing we got some good sense in the ranks now.
Well, what'll it be, Judson? Lieutenant or Mr. Fletcher?
You know the choice as well as I do, Captain.
It'll be a comfort knowing I'm not leaving you behind.
We're going to fight the king together, Seth. Maybe it's best we both leave the past behind.
Agreed, Judson. But it'll be easier having you along. All right, you Virginians. Got a march of 700 miles. I'm saying you could do it in 3 weeks without so much as losing a fur-tail cap doing it. Yeah! All right!
Excitement of your coming back.
You look so worried. I'll be fine, you'll see.
And you're feverish. You really need a doctor.
Well, Mrs. Brumple has tried everywhere. There's just no one to be found. Please, Philip, don't let this spoil our time together. God will see us through. There's just nothing more to be done to find a doctor.
Yes, there is. And it isn't God's problem. It's mine. I'm your husband. I'll be back.
Where are you going?
To recall a debt.
I tell you, gentlemen, we must unite behind our new commander, General Washington, or we are finished.
I don't know, Henry. Maybe the others are right. Maybe it should be one of our own people.
That's precisely what it must not be. Because as long as this remains just our fight, and not all of the colonies, Our cause is lost.
Well put, Henry. We need all the help we can get, all of us.
Philip Kent. It's been a long time.
Aye.
How have you fared these last months?
Well enough, I suppose. Still alive. Excuse me for interrupting you, gentlemen, but I was looking for you, Dr. Church, on a matter of some urgency.
Well, what is this matter of some urgency?
I'm not the kind of man who would usually do this, sir, but my wife is too important to me not to ask. She's with child, and there are complications.
I've just been appointed Surgeon General of the entire Army. You asked me to be your wife's physician?
Dr. Church, you may not remember my name or my face, but I'm sure you remember a certain redcoat's bayonet that may have removed our Surgeon General before his time if it were not for my sword.
You're the one that saved my life at Lexington.
Aye. And a matter I would certainly not bring up if not for the urgency of my need.
I'll see you later, gentlemen. It seems I have a debt to repay.
Gonna be just fine.
Just keep it quiet. You know where to reach me. She does need a doctor's care, and I'll be happy to give it.
Dr. Church, can you tell me
How serious it is?
Aye, sir.
It's not good. But with the proper care, both mother and child will come through perfectly.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I can't tell you how...
Then don't. You fight for us out there, and we'll do what's necessary here.
You have a bargain, sir.
I'll drop in every day or so. If I'm otherwise needed, you know where to find me.
Thank you again, Doctor.
Mrs. Brumple.
The size of the army besieging Boston increased rapidly as militia companies from the other colonies arrived to lend their support to the cause of liberty. Independence, then being a word not yet in public use by most people. However, in the weeks that followed, the militia who had come full of fever to fight grew increasingly restive. Not having an enemy at hand, they began to fight among themselves.
I don't like to fight. When you waiting on me, you're backing up.
Watch out for that little guy. He's about to beat up your kneecap.
Hey, here's one for you.
Very nice, yeah.
Well, I ain't had such fun since I left Caroline County. Sit down. Have a drink. Man who keeps F. Tate from getting himself killed is deserving.
Especially when it's not his liquor. I admit it takes a little getting used to.
What are you doing in the middle of Virginia territory anyway, boy? Slap some of that in a cup right there.
Oh, I was on leave to visit my wife.
Well, now, ain't that a cracker?
Well, it's because she's with child and things being a bit quiet these days.
Quiet is the word for it. Things were more exciting before the war started.
Having a baby, huh?
Aye.
Fathered 7 of my own. What's this for you? Take a drink and hold on.
It's our first.
To the first.
Just a minute now. We've been jawing, and I even said hello proper. Experience F. Tate of Caroline County. Most call me F.
Philip Kent's my name.
Fletcher, Judson Fletcher. The black sheep of Caroline County. Ah! Patient to Dr. Tate here. And about to do a whole lot of damage to this. Ah!
Drunks do tend to feel a mite sorry for themselves.
Are you really a doctor, Mr. Tate?
Only the backcountry kind. I do smithing, barbering, mixed tonics to cure boils, minister to expecting women and heifers, including my wife. The way I see it, a man ought to finish what he starts. If you get my meaning.
Not too subtle, RF, you know. Oh!
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, but I do have to be going.
Give her our best, Kent.
I will.
Kent? I do appreciate the deed you done for me.
Aye.
Want a drink?
Might as well. I can hardly see what I'm doing anyway.
During the following months, the military standoff continued. General Washington used this time to try and shape his unruly volunteers into some kind of fighting force.
Annie! Annie?
Oh, thank God you're here.
Is that you?
Where's Dr. Church?
He hasn't been here in a week. I've sent daily messages to him.
And what happened?
He doesn't answer and he doesn't come. Oh, you've got to do something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Please, Mrs. Brumple. Stay with me. I'll get Dr. Church here if I have to drag him. But I tell you, I must see Dr. Church. It's a matter of life and death. Please, sir, I've been searching all over town. Is he here or not?
And I've told you to be off. You have no proper business here.
Henry!
Hold!
Oh, thank God you're here.
What's the problem?
We need Dr. Church desperately. It's Anne. She's in labor. Henry, she could die.
Dr. Church is not available at the moment.
Don't do this.
I'm sorry, Phil.
Henry! You can't let this happen.
All right, we're leaving. We're leaving. Come on, Ed. Let's go. Come on.
I swear, them New Englanders aren't very friendly like.
Well, F, you do take some getting used to.
Mr. Tate.
Philip.
Hello, Philip.
Oh, thank God I found you.
You come to have a drink along with?
Hold up, F.
Well, it's my wife, sir. She's very ill, and I can't seem to locate Dr. Church.
It's your Easter time, huh?
Aye.
Well, show the way. Let's go do what needs doing.
And so you burned it? You burned your claim to the Kentland title and fortune?
That's right. I burned it because it bound me to another person's principles, another person's way of life. I saw a hope in this land, Judson, and a future I was willing to fight for.
You might have been able to serve it better as the heir to the Duke of Kentland.
have a son, Kent.
And what of Anne?
She's awful weak. You best go see her.
You can touch him. He's yours too. We must name him Philip. Now, right now.
Annie.
I want to know his name.
Your father was Abraham. He shall be Abraham. That's all right with you.
Papa, would you please?
Annie, please. For our sake, you must try.
I'm sorry, Philip. I'm sorry. It's not your fault.
Annie, I need you with me.
My Philip.
As summer turned to fall and fall to winter, with no change in the situation, the army around Boston began to fall apart.
Well, now, how's our fearless leader?
He's sulking in the tent. He's insulted that General Washington won't give him a more important job. I swear if it's enough to make you want to change sides.
Hey, now, don't go talking like that. Not even fun. Tell you what, been a fair long time since I got me real sloppy drunk. How about it?
Oh, it just seems like everything I've put my hands on just turned sour. Must be something in the blood.
Something in the drink, if you get right down to it. You drunk yourself past happy and not as far as unconscious.
No, that's exactly what I mean. I can't even get drunk right.
It's hard to understand considering all the practice you've had. Well, look who's here. Kent, over here.
Judson, F, it's good to see you again.
Sit down.
You look about as happy as I feel.
You got it in your hand. Drink up.
It must be all 3 months.
How is that son of yours getting along?
Abraham? Oh, he's doing just fine. I don't suppose I'm much of a father to him, though. If it weren't for Mrs. Brumple, I just don't know what I'd do.
Good woman. A little long in the tooth for some, but a good woman. Well, here's to good women wherever they... Sorry.
It's all right, F. I know you meant well. I suppose you both heard about Dr. Church.
That he was arrested for treason.
Night Annie died.
Well, he was a damn traitor. They caught him red-handed, selling military information to the Redcoats.
And his treason and this damn war cost me my wife. Now, what's the sense in that?
Now listen. What's past is past. There ain't nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah? I shall.
Well, now, if you two gentlemen are sitting feeling sorry for yourselves, old Doc Tate's got only one remedy for you. Drink up. Isn't he a sight to behold?
He does have a certain style about him, F.
Kind of style that get a man shot at by husbands and fathers.
Barmaid! Barmaid! We need some service over here.
Lady's engaged at the moment, sir.
Lady, huh? That wench ain't no lady. Hey, she's just as much mine as yours.
Let's not get all riled up, gentlemen. I'll get your drinks right quick.
When I say so.
When I say so. I still say so.
Let's make her fair. Hold on, huh? You know, I think you and I are related.
We can't win. Let's call it a night.
Might as well. There's a few too many of them.
Get!
Excuse us, just a minute. Let's find another party. We're a little bit late already. Yeah.
Don't be messing with me. I'm out. Get out. Wait, don't. Hold fast. The watch is coming.
All right, you're under arrest. What for? We're brawling. You know General Washington's orders. Let's make a story for him at headquarters. Move it. Move it. You.
Yes, sir.
Here, clean yourselves up a bit. It might go a little easier on you, especially him.
All right, Kent. Just want to get your head straight again.
Well,
Headquarters. Seems the three of us have been arrested for brawling.
All right, let's move.
Philip. Henry. That was fast. I just sent for you 10 minutes ago.
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, Henry.
Neither do I, sir. We just arrested these men for brawling in public.
Nonsense, Sergeant. General Washington requested this man for a special service.
What about these other two?
Leave them with me. It's all right. I'll take full responsibility.
But, sir...
Dismiss, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Henry, I'd like to introduce you to two friends of mine. Lieutenant Judson Fletcher and Sergeant F. Tate, the Prince William Company, Virginia Militia. Henry Knox.
Well, you'll be going along, too, I imagine.
Beg pardon?
We've already asked for the Prince William Company.
But how do I fit in, Henry?
As my executive officer, if you accept.
But, Henry, I'm just a militiaman, and you're a civilian.
I'm a colonel, and General Washington will make you a captain.
Captain? Why?
Because I've requested it, and because of special knowledge you have.
What a poor excuse for an army general. You forget your fellow Virginians too easily.
Which of the two bothers you most, Seth?
One day you'll live to regret the treatment you've given me.
Let us both hope that you're wrong about that. God knows we need all the support we can get for our cause. But I cannot suffer disaffection without just cause, and you have none that I can see.
We have a difference of opinion, sir. Well, you have my resignation, General.
The commander of the Prince William Company?
Yes, we'll have to find a replacement.
You've already done so, sir. Judson Fletcher, second in command, Prince William Company.
Fletcher of Sherman Hill?
Your servant, sir.
I know your father well. Devious scoundrel if I ever met one.
You do know him well, sir.
And this must be Philip Kent.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Kent, please accept my most profound regrets. The business with Dr. Church was unfortunate, but unavoidable.
Someday, General, I may be able to say that I understand. Until then, I accept your honorable intentions.
Yes, well, I couldn't ask for more. Shall we get on with the briefing, gentlemen? Be comfortable, gentlemen? We can expect Billy Howe to break out of Boston at any time and attack our positions. Now, here, in Dorchester Heights, we're vulnerable. Henry's plan can put us in a superior position, perhaps even force Howe out to sea, leaving Boston to us.
Guns to fortify Dorchester Heights, sir. Is that what you're proposing?
That's it, Philip. Only we need more cannon than we can find in the barns and cellars of Massachusetts Bay.
There's only one place that many cannon can be found. Do I understand that last May you were part of the supply train from Cambridge to Fort Ticonderoga?
Aye, sir.
They have more artillery there than they need to defend the place. You know the geography. We need those guns.
Ticonderoga. Can be a very hard trip this time of year.
Can it be done?
Yes, General. It can be done, but it could be a very costly enterprise.
Nothing to do with war was ever cheap or easy.
Anyway, Mrs. Brumple, this journey may take some time. In fact, I have no way of knowing how long.
If you're asking me to continue taking care of the child, save your breath, young Kent. I wouldn't let you take him away if you brought the law down on my head.
Well, that's very kind of you.
No, that's nonsense. I'm being truthful. I love little Abraham as though he was my own child. So go fight your war and leave the child in better hands than yours. Come on, baby, get down here and don't cry. That's it. Here we go. Is it too hot? If you're trying to offer me money, please don't. The child doesn't eat much, and soldiers hardly get any pay at all.
That's also very kind of you. Nevertheless, you must have these. If anything should happen to me, these papers are proof of Abraham's inheritance from his grandfather, Lawyer Ware. 'Tis his by right, and you must claim it for him if I don't return.
Oh, you'll come back. Only the good die young. Don't you worry. I'll take care of these and him, so you put your mind at ease.
Goodbye, son. Someday when all this is done with, we'll start over again. You and I together.
On November 28, 1775, the expedition set forth for Fort Ticonderoga, 300 miles away.
We've been moving pretty fast so far. How much further do you make it, Philip?
We should reach the lake by nightfall. Maybe another day to the fort.
What's the country like up ahead?
It's mostly wild. A few farms. Could be some Indians, though. We should send scouts ahead.
Right. Sergeant Tate! Yo! Take a couple of men and scout on ahead.
What am I looking for?
Anything that might give us a problem, Sergeant.
Cowper, Breed, mount up and follow me.
Boy, the weather's sure getting colder by the day.
It's the best thing that could happen to us. Need the snow for the sledges. No way we could haul those guns across this country on wheels.
My luck, we'll have a dry winter.
On December 4th, they arrived at Lake George, 33 miles south of the fort, and camped for the night.
Well, the thing is that things never seem to work out right for me. I've been fighting with my father since my mother died. And 2 years ago, I lost the only thing in my life that was really important to me.
What was that?
This lady I was to be married to. We grew up together. We were very much in love. And one night I got drunk, ended up with a married woman. She found out about it. The scandal was just too much for her. So she married somebody else.
I think I know what it's like to lose someone like that.
Sometimes I think I did it deliberately. Maybe things were going too well. I don't know. I never was fit for the life of a plantation owner back in Virginia.
What do you think you want to do with your life, then?
I don't know. I don't guess I've ever really known. Maybe that's why this war and this expedition is so important to me.
It is important. At least Washington and Knox believe it is. That is, if we get the cannon there.
We'll get them there. This is the first time in my life that I've had my hands on something really important. We'll get them there.
Anyways, I was saying, sometimes John just scares the life out of me. He has an obsession with this revenge thing. He swears he's going to kill Judson if it's the last thing he does.
I didn't know he was that fond of Ambrose, especially since he inherited the estate.
Well, now, that's the strange thing. You know, John never did take kindly to being the younger brother. Of course, Ambrose wasn't all that lovable, if you know what I mean.
I think you made that quite clear to the whole county. If you'll excuse me for saying so.
Peggy, just because you and Judson were
what? I have no claim on Mr. Fletcher. And whatever went on between the two of you is certainly none of my affair.
Well, that's very unkind. Very unkind.
Mrs. McLean? I have a letter from Cambridge for you.
Thank you.
From Seth. Anything wrong?
I don't know. He's resigned his commission. He says he's going to Philadelphia to join our delegation to Congress. He wants me to meet him there as soon as possible.
How exciting.
Yes, I suppose it is. Well, I'd best get to packing. If I should just happen to run into Mr. Fletcher while I'm up north, is there anything you'd like me to tell him for you?
Yes, tell him. Well, warn him about John.
I'm sure it won't worry him in the least.
After removing the guns from Ticonderoga, the expedition floated them down the length of Lake George, where they were loaded on sledges for the long overland journey back to Cambridge.
Come on! Come!
We can't get through up ahead, Henry. The pass is blocked by snow. We just have to find another route.
Damn!
These delays are driving me mad.
Never knew a man that could fight the weather and wind, Colonel.
What do you think, Eph? We have enough time to scout south before dark?
We'll sure give it a try.
We'll find that route for you, Henry. Judson, things all right?
Don't ask. A week ago, I thought of this as a challenge, not an impossibility.
Well, we'll make it yet.
Save us some supper.
Aye, aye.
Ev, you scout the upper side of the ravine.
Right.
It looks clear down this way. I think we can make it.
Good. Ain't nothing up here but trees.
F! You all right? F.
They're long overdue, sir. I still think we ought to send out some search parties.
To look where? I'm as fearful about them as you are, Fletcher. But
It's F. He took a bad fall.
He's frozen to the bone. You men lend a hand here.
get him inside.
Well, now. Finally woke up, did you? How you feeling?
Cold. Cold and tired. What happened, F?
You saved my life. That's what happened.
I don't remember.
Of course you don't remember. Damn near died of exposure. Here. Drink this. It's hot. Careful.
Why are we still camped?
Because it's been snowing to beat all out there. Can't move in this weather. Old Henry Knox is going crazy over the delay. He said he needed snow and he got a damn sight more than anyone can use. Anyway, you're lucky. Me in no condition to travel, which you ain't. Here, come on. Drink some more. That's good. There you go. Attaboy.
For 2 more days, because of a howling blizzard, the expedition was unable to move. Finally, they managed to get underway again. By now, Philip had come down with a raging fever, one that could easily kill him.
Trail's clear ahead, Colonel, as far as I can see.
Excellent. Excellent.
How's Philip doing?
Poorly. Very poorly. He's burning up with fever. If you ask me, he's not going to last another 2 days if we don't hold up somewhere and give him a chance.
We can't stop moving. Not for Philip. Not for anyone.
And he's surely going to die. And considering he saved my life, I don't think I can go for that.
Sergeant, what you are suggesting...
Colonel, there's a farmhouse about 3 miles ahead of the trail. Maybe we can get them to take Philip in.
No maybes about it. I got my persuader right here.
That man almost got himself shot for mutiny.
Don't fool yourself, Colonel. If it comes to a showdown, the entire detachment will be on his side.
Including you?
Fortunately, that's a question I'll never have to ask myself now, is it?
All right, now. Open up. We know you're in there. We ain't above burning this place down. We don't get some cooperation pretty fast. That'll stir 'em up.
Mean rascal, ain't you?
As mean as I have to be. Here we go.
Leave me be.
Can't do that, ma'am. Got a sick friend here and needs shelter badly.
Are you men soldiering?
That we are.
Which side you on?
Don't much matter. Man, as sick as he is, he's got bigger problems than politics.
He's burning with fever.
Do tell. Now, we're going to bring him in here. He's surely going to die. We don't figure to let that happen.
Your man home?
No, not presently. He's off to the fighting, too.
Now, you take good care of our friend here till he's well. And I'll see you get the same amount again. Agreed?
Do I have much of a choice?
Not much.
Bring him on in. Put him over there and I'll tend to him.
He sure looks poorly. Best I stay with him.
I could get you shot for desertion if.
Matter of fact.
No way are you staying here. I'm all alone. And he doesn't worry me. But you do. So get on with your soldiering and I'll do what needs doing.
I'll bet you will at that. But you hear me good, woman. When we come back for him, he best be all right. So help me. I'll burn this place down around your head.
He'll be waiting for you. God's willing. So go on and get.
Hey,
Yeah,
what's your friend's name?
Kent. Philip Kent.
Annie. Annie. I'm home. Annie.
All right, boys, one more time. All right, hit them up. Move them on out.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Ooh, I want.
Where am I?
You finally woke up. I'll be with you in a minute.
What am I doing here?
A couple of your friends left you off 2 days ago. You were in a real bad way. Had a burning fever. Come on, come on. You must be starving by now. Here, eat some of this. What happened to you anyway?
I fell in the river. I got a chill from it.
A chill that could have killed you.
I guess it almost did, too. Did my friends say anything when they left me?
Just that they'd be back. And if you weren't alive and kicking, they'd burn me out.
They didn't really mean that, ma'am.
Yeah. Did or didn't, I guess I don't have to worry about that anymore.
What'd you do with my clothes?
Oh, I took them off and washed them. You too. They smelled something awful.
There's only one bed in this room, ma'am. If you forgive me, where have you been sleeping?
Not on the floor, Mr. Kent.
Well, it appears under the circumstances it might make more sense if you call me Philip.
All right. My name is Rachel, and that's Abraham, my son.
Abraham? I have a son named Abraham.
Then Anne must be your wife. Oh, you kept talking to her. While you were out of your head with the fever, that is.
It was my wife's name.
Was?
She died about 6 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. The way you were talking, you must have loved her very much.
I did.
Where's your Abraham now?
He's in Watertown. That's near Boston. Left him with a very kind woman.
You must miss him something terrible.
Yeah, I surely do, ma'am. Where's your husband?
Oh, I don't know. He went off to the fight, and I ain't seen him since September.
Well, at least it's for a good cause, ma'am.
Maybe. Well, that ought to hold you till dinner. Try and get some rest now.
I didn't think it could get any colder, but it surely has. As a matter of fact, I've been saying that ever since we left Ticonderoga.
You southern men just have no stomach for our winters. Personally, it can't get too cold. Not if we're ever going to get those guns across the river.
Well, the ice ought to be thick enough to risk a crossing in a couple of days, sir.
These delays are costing us the war.
We're doing the best we can, sir.
I know. I know. And yet I have to sit here and write General Washington that the future of our cause depends on an ice buildup on the Mohawk River.
You might tell him to thank God it isn't July.
Philip. Philip. You know, life is hard out here. And it gets lonely. Very lonely. And the night is awful cold, isn't it?
Aye. It is that.
And it's been 6 months since your wife died. And I don't even know if my husband is still alive.
Rachel. It's all right.
So, if two people were to try and keep each other warm and...
Rachel. Hush.
On level ground, the going was difficult enough. On steep slopes, however, it became almost impossible and very dangerous.
Stand ready to lower the next sled.
The next to last sled down the hill. Make sure all the guns are secured. And relash that powder sled.
Yes, sir. Cheer up, F. We're gonna make it yet.
Should have taken a long way around.
Would have taken too long. Besides, if Hannibal can take his whole army over the Alps, we can surely manage this little hill.
I don't know what war he was in, but he's welcome to this one.
Why don't you go up on top and give him a hand? No, this way.
Are you secure up there? Lower away!
Up, yep. Up. Shorty. Get up. Up.
Ease up on that oxen. We gotta do this slow. Judson! Send up some more chain.
I'll bring it.
Get him out of it. Get him out of it. Come on, get him out of it. Get him out of it. Don't get them animals all riled up now. Look, Fred! Get on the checkbook! Try to hold her! That sled mangled his leg good. Afraid it's gonna have to come off.
No!
Judson?
Nobody's taking my leg.
You could die.
Nobody touches me, F. You hear? Nobody!
I got you.
Whoa. I believe Abraham likes me better clean shaven. I swear, he's getting bigger every day.
Well, the way you go on with him, a stranger would think he's truly your own son.
Sometimes I think he is more real than my Abraham.
Well, that's because he's here with you, just as I am. But I wonder.
What do you wonder about?
How much longer it'll go on? I mean, you're bound to up and leave sometime.
Tell you truthfully, I hadn't thought about that. All this time we spent together, it's been as though you and I were alone in our own world.
Well, we have been. But it can't stay like this forever.
Why not?
You know why not.
Well, then we should not speak of it until we must. I'll get some more wood.
With Judson Fletcher strapped to a spare sledge, they continued their trek through 40 more miles of deep snow and took rest at a farm on the outskirts of Albany. The long trek was over. It would be an easy trip to Cambridge from here.
You stubborn old mule. Doc said you get to keep that leg. You're about finished for this army.
Damn it. For a while there, F, I thought I was really doing something.
You surely were.
Maybe. But it's over now. I'm finished. Here, sit down.
You're alive, and that's a lot more than some can say.
Alive, but crippled. Not much use to anybody.
Now, that might be true for me. But you're an educated man. You don't need your leg to think with or talk.
What are you getting at?
There's a lot more to winning the war than just the fighting. Meaning you could do good in Philadelphia. At the Congress. A man that's been through what you have, he might be a man they just might listen to down there.
What was that?
Just old Knox firing off one of his guns. We're kind of celebrating the fact that we got the job done. All of us. Well, I best get moving. Gotta go back and get Philip. If you get the chance, Prince William Company would like to hear from you. How you getting along?
I'll tell you what. Them Philadelphia ladies will leave me alone long enough. I'll write you.
Wait a minute, you can't read.
I know that.
Take care, F.
Someone's coming.
Well, it's probably just F and Judson coming back for me.
God in heaven, it's Rafe.
Rafe?
My husband and some of his friends. We gotta get you out of here
Wait a
fast.
minute. You were forced to take me in. I was sick and you took care of me. There's nothing the matter with that. That's all you have to tell him.
But Philip, you don't understand. They're King's men, Tories. If they get you here, they'll hang you before sundown. We gotta go. This way. This is in case of Indian attacks. You can hole up here till dark. Then do what you can.
Rachel, I owe you more than my life.
Then care for it, Philip. For me. Now go.
What are you doing out in the middle of nowhere?
Well, it's a long story that'll keep. Right now, I think we'd best just get the hell out of here. He's looking just fine, Mrs. Brumple. His mother would be very happy to know how well you've done by him.
I did what was needed, and so did you. Oh, not you again. Don't you ever take a bath?
Miss Brumple, if I wasn't true to Minnie Mae, you'd be the apple of the orchard.
F. Tate, what brings you out today?
From Philadelphia. Judson, I think. Thought you, might like to tell me what it says. Never had the time to learn to read.
Here, Abraham, you go to your Uncle F. Maybe you won't cry so much.
No, you see there? Abe here don't think I'm so foul.
Abraham. Come here, jolly face. Don't give it to me so fast.
I knew it. Judson's done it again.
Done what?
Well, he used Tom Jefferson's influence and General Washington's. He's been made part of the Virginia delegation to the Congress.
Well, howdy do.
Says here that he had to squeeze this letter in. Some private joke he had with you?
Which means the bull's running loose in the heifer pen. That's English for... I guess he's a mite too young to care.
Well, I feel better now.
Don't we all? Oh, I also got a message from the general. He wants to see you right quick.
Is it the war again?
Very same.
At any rate, Captain Kent, we now have the guns, thanks to Colonel Knox here and yourself. However, we can't fortify the heights until the ground thaws.
I see, sir, but what can I do to help?
Henry?
Go to Philadelphia, Philip, to John Adams. Tell him he must hold the people together there until the general is ready to move.
The problem is this blasted stalemate we've been living with since June. The Army is falling apart, and the Congress, I'm afraid, is beginning to lose its resolution.
If you'll forgive me, sir, why me?
Because Adams knows you, trusts you, because you alone can tell him how much these guns mean to our cause.
Then I'll leave at first light, sir.
Very good. Oh, by the way, Captain, when you return, you'll have your own command. You're to be the captain of the Prince William Company, Virginia Militia.
I'm sorry, sir, but I don't understand. That's impossible. I'm a New Englander, not a Virginian.
Unusual, yes. Impossible, no. The men of the Prince William Company elected you to take the place of Judson Fletcher.
Yes, I believe it was unanimous, too.
Thank you, sir.
Well, speaking for myself, I thought things went very well today in the Congress.
We're not moving fast enough, Doctor. Lack of resolution in these times can be fatal.
Your motives are admirable, Judson, but your lack of tact in handling the opposition leaves something to be desired.
Mr. Jefferson is, as usual, quite right. One does not win friends by pointing out their failings.
I'm sorry, Tom. It's the only way I have of fighting this war now.
Mr. Jefferson, Dr. Franklin.
Mr. Adams?
Excuse me, I must have a word with Mr. Adams.
Was it my imagination, or was I just snubbed by my fellow radical, the great John Adams?
He's from New England. They have a very rigid sense of morals up there.
Meaning?
Well, after all, there has been some talk about town.
About me? A fascinating subject. No doubt you're going to lecture me again, Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have another drink.
I still believe we must reconcile our differences if we're to succeed in this rebellion. United, we can accomplish anything. We have it in our power to create a future beyond imagination for this country.
Ah, but there's the rub, Tom. Now, do we wish to create a future beyond imagination? Speaking for myself, I'm quite satisfied with life as it now exists. Once we're rid of the king, that is.
I'm afraid the one goes with the other. We cannot hope to win a broad enough support from the people for this revolution of ours unless we can offer them something better than the life they had under the king.
So in order to get this support, you would destroy the social order, upset the balance of society, and lose for our cause all men of substance and property. No, sir. This revolution is a political matter between ourselves and England. It was never intended to be a social revolution. I tell you, Tom, this country must and will be a republic, not a democracy whose future is left in the hands of the common people.
And I tell you, without the common people, as you call them, we cannot win.
Well, as to that, history will provide the answer. In the meantime, I suggest we have a drink and talk of tomorrow's business.
As I was saying, Judson, your spirit and intellect in the Congress is most welcome and refreshing, even with your frequent outbursts and your refusal to follow protocol. Protocol, you know, is the grease which permits the wheel of politics to go round.
I confess, Doctor, I'm not a patient man.
I know. But there are other things, such as that barroom brawl the other night, for example. It's the talk of the town.
I didn't know the place was home for every young Tory in town. One thing led to another, and
unfortunately, a member of Congress made an exhibition of himself.
But it was a private affair, Doctor.
No, Judson. I am afraid it has become our affair. Judson, please try to understand how these things appear to others. What we are undertaking here in Philadelphia will be considered so heinous in some quarters of the world that our personal motives and behavior must be above reproach.
In other words, we can get drunk and whore around, just so long as it's behind closed doors, so that our public image remains hypocritically spotless.
Unfortunately, that is the way of the world.
I see. Dr. Franklin, forgive me for saying so. But you know, you have quite a reputation as a ladies' man yourself. And no one thinks the less of you for it.
Oh, if anything, they think more of me for it. But that's just because of my age, young sir. You see, for a man of my advanced years to even consider the pleasures of the flesh, much less enjoy it, is such a wonder to behold that it leaves even my worst critics struck dumb with admiration.
Took you long enough, love. You and your stupid politics. You're coming home later every night.
Sorry, Molly, me sweet. But as the poet should have said, man can't live on love alone.
Good try.
I imagine I'm about to.
Chet, you really are a devil.
Have a pistol. Be still. It's safe now, sir.
Well, Fletcher, you are slipping. A tavern slut.
Look, you!
You've come a long way, John. For a brother you never cared that much for.
My motives are the least of your problems at the moment, sir.
Judson, what are they saying?
What they're saying, Molly, is that they're planning to kill us.
The hell you say?
Well, at least you're alive.
None of the Waverleys could ever shoot straight.
You're taking this too lightly, Judson.
What would you have me do, Tom?
Behave yourself as we've been asking you all along.
Tom, I was attacked in my own bed.
Yes, in which you were entertaining a female companion at the time.
Which bothers you most, Tom? The attempt on my life or the fact that I was not alone? If he tried to murder me, I defended myself.
Well, is it over?
Ask John Waverly. It's not by my choice that he has this ridiculous obsession. I shot his brother in self-defense, as you well know.
It is 300 miles from Cambridge to Philadelphia. On his way to see John Adams, Philip Kent made the journey in 5 days.
I understand Mr. John Adams of Massachusetts has rooms here.
That's right, sir.
Will you see to my horse, please? And so, Mr. Adams, the General is confident that if you can but hold the Congress in hand, he's certain to liberate Boston by March.
And will he also destroy Howe's army?
Well, that, sir, depends on General Howe, whether he chooses to fight or to flee.
I see. Well, you can assure the General that he has my full support, as usual, as well as the little influence that I can bring to bear. But tell him not to wait too long. The Congress is getting restless. They'd like to see an end to this matter.
As would we all, sir.
You're not returning to Cambridge tonight.
Oh, no, sir. I'm off to find a member of the Virginia delegation, Mr. Judson Fletcher.
Fletcher? Do you give him this news, too?
No, sir. The message I brought was only for your ears. Judson Fletcher is my closest friend. I see him only on personal matters.
Well, he's a good man, Fletcher. Mind you, I speak only politically. His morals are disgusting. As a friend, it might be well that you advise him to mend his ways before his reputation does our cause more harm than a regiment of King George's redcoats.
Well, I am sorry to hear that, sir, but I'll do what I can.
I don't mind that you do. Good luck and Godspeed on your safe return.
Thank you very much, sir.
Judson. Is this how you live? Always afraid?
Forgive me, Peggy. A new habit I've developed. Please, sit down.
Your latest escapade is all over town. Are you all right?
Yes, fine.
I'm glad.
Peggy, why are you here?
Why do you think I'm here?
Peggy, I've loved you. I've never stopped loving you or regretting it.
Judson, I'm so confused.
I've never loved anyone but you. God.
Judson, I don't...
Will I see you again soon?
As soon as I can get away. Now rest.
Have you found any valuables on her? I ain't even hardly had time enough to look. She's gonna be plenty all by herself.
Oh, Miss Bill.
Don't worry. They're gone now. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm all right.
You shouldn't be out. Not alone at this time of night.
I was visiting a sick friend.
Come. We'll find the watch and report this, and then I'll see you safely home.
No. No, you can't. You'll ruin everything.
So F and the boys elected you captain in my place. That's wonderful.
Well, I must confess I was flattered. As you well know, they don't take much to outsiders.
You're not an outsider. Not after Ticonderoga. Oh, I wish I was back with y'all. This leg of mine. I wasn't cut out to be a politician, Philip. All this talking and no action. I don't have the patience or the temperament for it.
You got to learn to, Judson. Keep in mind that your actions are reflections of us all.
You sound like my colleagues. Mr. Jefferson, Mr. Franklin, and John Adams. Sometimes I feel like the only novice in a school full of masters. But enough of this nonsense. Tell me more about this Rachel of yours. Now, that's conversation more to my taste.
The next morning, Philip Kent returned to Cambridge.
You did well in Philadelphia, Captain Kent. With Mr. Adams' support, we can move ahead as planned.
Thank you very much, General. If you'll excuse me, I'd best be getting back to my company.
Not just yet, I'm afraid.
We've another piece of work for you.
Before we attempt to fortify the heights above Boston, we must know the British plans.
And you want me to go into Boston, sir?
You remember John Masters?
I, the clerk of the port. Well, yes, sir. I know him well, but he's an avowed Tory.
To the world, perhaps. Actually, he's our chief agent in Boston. We need someone he knows and trusts to bring out his information. Will you do it?
I certainly will try, sir.
This is worse than waiting for the squeezers to ferment.
Listen, Eth. Now, you got me here. You can stay and wait for me tonight.
You're gonna meet that fella in the tavern, didn't you? After all this, I need a drink.
May I join you, sir?
Sit down. We haven't much time, Philip. I think they may suspect me. Here, take it. Just see that it gets back safely.
Hold there, Masters.
You fool! You damn fool!
All right. This man came in here to meet with someone. Who was it? Your name, sir?
Warren. Philip Warren, sir.
To whom did the other glass belong, Mr. Warren?
To a friend. He's gone now, sir.
Perhaps that friend left you with a message.
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, sir.
Search it.
Why are you doing this? I'm a loyal subject of His Majesty.
You find nothing. You were free to go.
Take it, Elsie!
Stop! Stop him! Stop him! Who is he? Where can he be found?
Why, who is that, Lieutenant?
You won't be so cocksure when we put a rope around your neck. Take him away.
I must say I admire your enthusiasm for the cause, but it happens as President of Congress, I must warn you to restrain yourself.
I appreciate your responsibilities, Mr. Hancock. I only wish that you were equally appreciative of mine.
I fail to follow what that means, sir.
I believe we're attempting to fight a war, or am I wrong? I mean, sir, should we be more moderate about our deliberations than the Army is in the field? Should we allow ourselves the luxury of quibbling over petty details while our cause goes down in defeat?
Must I remind you, sir, that we are both on the same side?
About that, I'm not too sure. Mr. Hancock, you of all people must recognize that this debate has gone on far too long. Damn it, sir, we are in rebellion. We have crossed a bridge and burned it behind us. Now let us say so. To King George, to his ministers, and to the world.
Ah, the voice of youth, promoting eloquence at the price of patience and wisdom. Sir, it's a pity that the Army lost the use of your services. You would have been a great leader of men. Well, I must be off on business. Good day to you, sir.
You're the pretty one. What can I get you?
Just an ale, please.
Ale it is, mister. tankard, Billy, and be quick about it. Thank you. Baby, love. That'll be 6 pence.
What would you say this would purchase?
A whole lot of women, love. A whole lot.
What do you mean she lost it? Well, it's not my fault, sir. All I know is she was drunk as a sot this morning. Go back and look again, you fool, you damn fool.
Seth. Is this what you're looking for?
Judson.
You hate Washington that much?
Yes. And you have every reason to also, Judson. Look at you.
A cripple. But not an assassin.
It's the only way, Judson. Join us. These fools can't possibly win. Right now, right this minute, British warships with troops are cruising the Carolinas. They're going to land and attack. And this rebellion will be snuffed out. And without Washington, in half the time.
So that's the way you see it then, Seth?
We're plantation owners, Judson. Our wealth, our position, our system of labor depends on the king's rule. Washington is an arrogant fool, and he must be stopped.
Does your wife know?
Peggy, of course not. She's a woman. She has no sense of these matters.
Thank God for that.
Are you with us?
With you? For Peggy's sake, I'll give you exactly 1 hour before I denounce you.
Come on, shoot him!
Incredible. An assassination plot within Washington's own personal guard and influenced right here in Philadelphia.
The tavern wench, Alice? Alice O'Mara. I'm sure the right bribe or threat would loosen her tongue enough to identify her contacts.
And this Trumbull, probably directly spying for Howe, and he conspired with Alice where Judson and Seth MacLaine discovered them.
Peggy, I'm sorry about...
There's nothing for us to say to each other, Judson.
What?
How could you do it?
What are you talking about?
I know Seth. He was never a hero. He was not that brave. He'd never have gotten involved in such activities on his own.
Peggy,
Somehow you arranged it. You killed him, Judson, or you got him killed. Do you think I could live like that? Do you hold me in such low esteem as to think that you and I could be happy together under those circumstances?
Peggy, there's so much that you don't understand.
And I don't care to. I'll be going home tomorrow. Please, don't ever try and see me again.
Well, gentlemen, today we have the honor of the presence of a minister of King George, recently arrived from London, His Grace the Duke of Kentland.
This is from your father. He wrote it in December of 1754. His name is Amberley. James Amberley. Read it.
This is a letter I promised you in Paris. By the witnessing below, I declare in sight of Almighty God that my natural son, Philippe, is hereby acknowledged by me, James Amberley, Duke of Kentland.
Yes, Philippe. You are a nobleman by birth, the son of an English lord.
You may proceed, General.
Thank you, Your Grace. Is the prisoner prepared to hear the findings of this court?
Aye.
It is the finding of this tribunal that the prisoner Philip Warren be found guilty. You will be sent to the gallows where you will be hanged until death, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Tell you about that lad today. Fine looking chap.
A rebel spy nonetheless, Your Grace.
Yes, I know. Such a waste. The whole affair with the colonies is a terrible tragedy. For all of us.
Yes, well, I'm only a soldier. I leave politics to the politicians and just obey orders.
I know, General, I know. By the way, what are these things?
Oh, personal effects that we found on the poor boy.
I'll be right outside, Your Grace, if you need me.
Thank you, Sergeant. I'm quite sure that the prisoner will not prove violent.
Very good, Your Grace. Just let me know when you want to leave, then.
Well, if you've come to interrogate me, there's nothing I'm obliged to tell you.
Put your mind at ease, Mr. Warren. Those matters are best left to the military.
Then what, sir?
My being here is entirely personal.
In what way personal?
I'm curious to know how you came by this ring. I understand it was taken from you when you were arrested.
I bought it.
Where?
Here in Boston.
When exactly?
2, 3 years ago. I cannot be certain.
And from whom did you buy it?
A stranger. One night in a tavern.
And did this stranger tell you how he came by it?
No, he did not.
Curious design, don't you think? Hmm? Rather unusual.
I found it, sir. Not that unusual.
I can assure you that it is very unusual. As a matter of fact, to my knowledge, there are now only 2 like it in the world. And there is the other. It is my family crest, you see.
That is a strange coincidence, sir.
Yes, isn't it? Gardez-vous, mon fils. It's even a stranger coincidence. The rebel spy understands French. Where did you learn the language, Mr. Warren? Many years ago, in Paris, I was in love with an actress named Marie Charbonneau. We had a natural son.
Bastard, you mean?
Bastard, if you will. His name was Philip, too. Coincidences multiplied, do they not? Mr. Philip Warren, I ask you on your honor and on your life, are you my son?
And if I were? Under the circumstances.
Your Grace, what difference would it make to either of us? If I were your son, your bastard, would it not distress you to watch me hang tomorrow?
It would distress me to see you die in any case. But if you were my son, it's possible you might not hang.
If in fact, sir, you could save my life, how could you possibly trust my answer?
Philip, if you are Philip, don't go to your death and leave an old man to wander to his grave without knowing. For God's sake, have done with this fencing and tell me, are you my son?
The name given me at birth was Philippe Charbonneau, the only son to Marie Charbonneau.
Philip.
Father.
On the night of March 4th, 1776, acting on the information brought back by F. Tate, Washington fortified the heights overlooking Boston. By morning, the city would lay naked before the American artillery.
With all due respect, Your Grace, the fellow's a rebel, a spy. He's been convicted in constitutional court. I have no authority, not even inclination, to reverse the verdict.
True, General, but you do have some discretion as to when the sentence is carried out.
I don't quite understand what you mean.
Postpone the execution until I can communicate with His Majesty. I can assure you that given time, the king will resolve your little dilemma.
The king? I must say, sir, I don't understand your interest in this fellow. I mean, if you would care to enlighten me.
It is hardly your concern, sir. It's an entirely personal matter. I ask you once again, postpone the execution until I can contact London.
Excuse me, General.
Hell to you, I told you not to disturb me.
It's the rebels, General.
What?
They fortified Dorchester Heights with heavy artillery.
The rebels? Oh, God, if this is true, we're ruined. I must go at once.
General...
No, I'm sorry. This will have to wait. Come along, my boy.
The British were stunned. The mere presence of Washington's cannon on Dorchester Heights meant that Boston could not be held. It also provided F. Tate a chance to try and rescue Philip.
They're firing on us from Dorchester Heights.
They mean to destroy headquarters first.
The Americans have put cannon on Dorchester. They're out to destroy Boston. We best evacuate. You stay in position, Private.
I have orders to evacuate the prisoner.
You're not British.
I should have known to keep my mouth shut.
Don't try, friends.
This for travel, boy?
Damn right I am. How'd you find me?
Easy. Only British jail in town.
Come on. Come on, come on. Thank you, Lucas.
Easy with us, too. Remember Royal Rothman?
Certainly do, Royal. F, how are we going to get out of town?
We're going back in style.
What does that mean?
Them Ticonderoga cannon on Dorchester Heights right now. It'd be right natural old Billy Howard want to blabber over it.
They're still acting like a bunch of blooming crazies back there. Howdy, Captain.
Green, you mean you were the diversion?
Yes, sir, and a grand time it was, too, sir. Can we get out of here? Now?
He does make sense.
Mount up. Ain't none of them done nothing like this before.
Neither have I.
What's the matter?
We need something to remember this day by, F.
We don't stay alive, we won't be remembering nothing.
You ride on ahead if you're a mind.
God protect you, my son.
Threatened by the guns on Dorchester Heights, the British had evacuated Boston without a fight. The following month, Washington began to move the army south to prepare for an expected attack on New York.
Sam?
Philip! Philip, how are you?
How are you, Sam?
I'm fine. Just fine. I'm just trying to get operating again. You know, since Ben Eads died, I'm afraid this place is a little more than I can handle.
Sam, I'd like to introduce you to a very close friend of mine, Mr. F. Tate. Sam Gill.
Nice to see you, Mr. Tate.
How do you do, Mr. Gill? Phillips told me a lot about you.
Yes, I believe we all owe the life of this young man to you, Mr. Tate.
Just his birthing. Miss Brumple can take credit for the rest.
Well, she's a fine woman.
For which I'm very grateful. You know, it's hard enough having to leave, Sam, but now at least I know the boy will be in good hands.
You going to New York, then?
Aye. Prince William Company heads out tomorrow.
Then it might be a while before we see you again.
I'm afraid so. I have a feeling it's going to be a very long war.
Well, then I'm afraid we have something we ought to talk about. Mr. Tate, would you excuse us a bit?
Be my pleasure. Think Abraham and I can take a turn around town. You don't fall asleep.
Come on, boy. Let you know how to drink. know, Philip, a man could get killed in this war.
Well, you needn't worry about me, Sam. Been taking care of myself for quite some time now.
It's not you I'm worrying about, Philip. You're a man. Take your chances with life just like everybody else. No. It's young Abraham I'm thinking about. What's going to happen to him if you don't come back?
Mrs. Brumple said she'd look after him.
Oh, that's fine. But is Mrs. Brumple going to teach him a trade? See to what kind of a life he makes for himself when he's grown?
Sam, I believe you're getting at something.
You're damn right I am. You leave the boy to me. If anything happens, I'll take him into the shop. I'll teach him to be a printer like both of us are. Hell, I've got no kin left. I'll even leave him in the shop when the time comes. Now, what do you say?
Sam, it's just too generous.
No, you listen to me.
I couldn't possibly accept it. But let me propose this. You need money to get the shop operating again. And I'll put up what Anne's father left us, 500 pounds. In return, we'll become partners. And that way, no matter what happens, we'll all still have a future.
Done. New face in town. Right pretty, too.
Sam, if you'll excuse me, I'll be back in just a minute.
Oh, you know the young lady, then?
More or less.
And in spite of the British blockade, the voyage from Virginia was most uneventful. I didn't even realize.
Excuse me, ladies. Forgive me for intruding, but I believe we've met before.
That's hardly possible, Captain...
Kent, ma'am. Captain Philip Kent.
As I was saying, Captain Kent, it's hardly possible that you could know my niece since she just arrived from Virginia this very day.
If you'll excuse me, ma'am, we met some time ago in Philadelphia. Under circumstances which caused me grave concern for the lady's well-being. I merely wished to pay my respects and to express my relief that she is well.
Thank you for your concern, Captain Kent, and for your help at the time. But I deeply appreciate it if we did not pursue the matter any further.
Your servant, ma'am.
Shall we go in, Agnes?
As you wish, Peggy.
I'm sorry, Captain Kent. You saved my life, for which I'm grateful. But please try to understand. Goodbye.
Care for him well, Mrs. Brumple. We may be gone quite some time.
Don't you worry. Abraham's in better hands than you are.
Well, take that kind of personal, man.
You were meant to, F. Tate. Well, go on, you two. And God go with you.
Support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
It's good, Tom. Very eloquent and get to the point.
It's magnificent. It's a document men will fight for.
Let's hope you're right, Judson. Resisting the king's oppression is one thing. Declaring our independence is a much more drastic step. I fear many of our people may not yet be prepared to go so far.
That's why this document must be ratified. We came into this fight only to redress our grievances as Englishmen. But we're far past that point now, and we can never go back. Independence is our only salvation. And this declaration will convince the skeptics and the world that the future is ours, and ours alone.
Well said, Fletcher.
But I still think that we should include the original provision against slavery.
As do we all. But there's no hope for it. Not at this time.
Tom's right. We'll have trouble enough getting this draft through. To bring up the slavery issue, we'll just split the Congress apart.
It would seem to me, gentlemen, that wisdom dictates that we only fight one war at a time.
Very well. But I'm not much given to compromising on principles.
Sir, if any of us were prone to compromise, I doubt we'd be here.
The months that followed the signing of the Declaration of Independence were a disaster for Washington's army. Ill-trained, ill-equipped, and badly led, it retreated constantly before the advancing British.
I don't know about you. I'm sure getting tired of all this advancing backwards. I'm no general. This ain't my idea how to win a war.
Or mine. Or General Washington's either, I don't suppose. We're just not ready to fight them yet, F. The General's buying time.
Maybe. But we're paying a high price for it. We lost a third of our men already.
True, but still we're better off than most.
Yeah. But for how long?
If I knew the answer to that, F, I guess I'd be running this army. Best be moving out. All right, men, move on.
I tell you, Dr. Franklin, this whole business is insane. While we sit in there quibbling, we're losing the war. And what will all the arguments about politics and money and states' rights amount to if we do lose?
Well, that is the price we pay for freedom. The right to disagree. But you're right, though. Our members, unfortunately, lack a sense of fitness in these matters. There'll be ample time to fight among ourselves after we've won. But unfortunately, it is beyond even my wisdom as to how to resolve these petty disputes.
It is also, unfortunately, beyond your concern, since you're off to France shortly.
It was insisted that I go.
And a good choice, too, sir. If anyone can help us with the French, it most certainly is you. But for this leg of mine, I'd go back into the army.
Would that we all could, were I younger. But enough for now. Tomorrow we'll be back in there trying again, huh?
I don't know about you, Dr. Franklin, but I'm very much in need of a drink. Would you care to join me?
Well, I'm afraid I have another engagement, but thank you. Forgive an old man for being presumptuous, Judson, but I somehow get the feeling that your frustrations are more personal than political.
And if they were?
It would serve both yourself and your country best by keeping them separated. One problem does not solve another. Good day, Judson.
Sorry, sir. Judson.
Philip. What happened to you?
I was wounded by a redcoat bayonet. Colonel Knox sent me here to handle the paperwork with Congress until I'm fit for action again.
You were better off in the field. This place is a real rat's nest.
That bad?
Worse. But what are we standing here talking for? This calls for an ale.
So F and the boys, what's left of them anyway, as well as they can be considering. The last few months have been very hard.
Things haven't been going well here either. Everybody's picking over the bones of a very sick eagle. Things were better in Boston. We all had such high hopes for a short war.
Aye. Those were good days, Judson. I miss Boston. And my son. But the last time I spent there, I happened on a strange coincidence.
What was that?
Do you remember my telling you of a girl I met here in Philadelphia? The one I saved from thugs?
What about her?
Well, I saw her again my last day in Boston. She had just arrived from Virginia by sea.
Go on.
Well, I saw her in a tavern. She was with another woman, an aunt, I believe. So I introduced myself. But the strangest thing happened. She acted as though she didn't want to be reminded at all of how or when we met. And then she left rather abruptly, too.
Did you happen to find out this lady's name?
I think her aunt called her Peggy. I was really quite taken with her. She's a very beautiful girl. But then most women are in her condition. At least Anne was.
What do you mean?
She was pregnant.
That same night, Judson Fletcher left for Boston.
Is this the Harris home?
I'm Mrs. Harris.
Yes, ma'am. I understand you're the aunt of Peggy Ashford McLean.
I am.
I'd like to see her, if I may. My name is Judson Fletcher.
Please, come in.
Judson. How did you ever manage to find me?
By chance, Peggy. By the kindness of fate. That's our child you're carrying, isn't it?
Judson,
Isn't it?
Yes.
And you weren't going to tell me about it, were you?
I was confused and upset. After what happened in Philadelphia, what I said to you, I found letters in his belongings. Seth was a traitor, and you tried to tell me.
That's past. It's best forgotten. Tell me what's in the present for us. What's in the future. Tell me what you feel.
Oh, Judson. I do love you. I do.
I have to say, Mr. Adams, it's just not enough. I've been with the Army since the start at Lexington. I tell you, the men can't take much more. It's not just the lack of pay or supplies, but more the feeling that nobody else cares, that they are the only ones making any sacrifices for our freedom.
I know, Philip. I understand. There are few of us who really do. And we try our best, but... It pains me to say this, Philip, but I am, by nature, not a popular man. I sometimes feel I do our cause more harm than good.
No, sir. Nothing could be more untrue. For without you, sir, I fear we would all be lost.
Mr. Adams, would you excuse me a moment? Oh. Gilles? Gilles, c'est toi vraiment? Ah, c'est moi, Philippe. Philippe? Philippe Charbonneau! Oh. Croyez-vous ça, capitaine? Rien de moi? Est-ce que l'entraînement coche des données t'a servi à quelque chose? Oh, si je suis encore en vie, c'est grâce à cet entraînement. But excuse me, I'm forgetting my manners. May I present a very important member of our Congress, Mr. John Adams of Massachusetts. This is a very close friend of mine, Marie-Joseph Polivroche Gilbert de Montier, the Marquis de Lafayette.
It is an honor, sir. We have heard very good things of you in Paris.
Oh, well, I thank you, sir. And welcome to our city.
Thank you, sir. I only wish all of your countrymen felt as you do.
I don't follow your meaning.
Allow me to explain. King Louis and his queen, they know my enthusiasm for your cause, but they do not wish me to leave France. In fact, the king, he forbids me to leave France. So, what do? I disguise myself as a postboy to escape to Bordeaux. I buy myself a merchant ship and have it outfitted for a voyage to America. I travel 900 miles from South Carolina. I have references from your Dr. Franklin. I have done all this to serve a great cause for liberté. And I am coldly asked to wait outside on the walk.
Wait? Who asked you to wait, Jules?
Mr. Lovell, a member of your Congress, I believe.
Lovell. An officious fool if there ever was one.
I'm sure you could help, sir.
I will certainly look into the matter. And I assure you, Monsieur le Marquis, that in these times, we here in America can use all the help we can get. And we are by no means too proud to accept it. Now, if you will excuse me, gentlemen.
A very impressive man, that one.
An important man, and a very dedicated one, too.
Good. Then he may be of some help after all. So it is Kent now, not Charbonneau?
That's right. I've taken an American name here.
What is the name? You are still the Philippe who saved my life. That day on the road near Chavagnac.
Aye, Chavagnac.
But why are you here? Why are you not with the army?
I was wounded. They sent me here to do staff work until I recovered, and now that I'm fit again, they won't return me to my company.
La guerre, armies, they are the same the world over. But come, you must tell me all about yourself. If I am to serve, I must understand everything. Let us go.
Aren't you supposed to wait here?
Wait? For what? You are Mr. Adams. He will solve the problem or he will not. It is no longer my concern. Allons-y!
We've missed so much. We've wasted so much time we could have had together.
The wonder is that we still have so much life left before us. Peggy, I want you to come to Philadelphia with me right away.
Judson, I'm going to have a baby any time now.
Then I'll stay here.
No. Your work in Philadelphia is too important.
If you only knew.
But I do know. Even here in Boston, we've heard how strong an arm General Washington has in you. You go, do your work with Congress, and we'll follow as soon as we can. The baby should be at least 3 months old for the journey.
All right, then. But we'll be married first.
We can't, not now.
Why not?
You and I know it's our child, but everyone else thinks it's Seth MacLean's. How would it look if we married now?
Oh, I don't care how it looks.
Well, I do. And so will the child when he's older. Oh, darling, we don't want our child going through life bearing that kind of stigma. I love you, Judson. But patience is very important.
You know, I'm not a very patient man.
Well, then do it for me. We'll marry in Philadelphia.
Peggy, I love you. And if that's what you want, I'll wait.
Qu'il bande de te revoir. Philippe, I have been look for you everywhere.
Just sit down. What's all the excitement about?
I have been honored today to have been allowed the privilege of becoming a part of the American Army.
You got your commission.
The Marquis de Lafayette is now a Major General in the American Army.
Congratulations, Gilles.
Attendez, there is more. I have just finished a marvelous dinner with General Washington, and he has extended me the ultimate honor to join his personal staff.
That is an honor, Gilles.
And he has granted me one other request. You are my friend, Philippe. You helped me get this opportunity to fight in your magnificent rebellion. And for that, I will always be in your debt.
Gilles, what are you driving at?
What was your greatest wish only yesterday?
To have my company back, I suppose. You didn't.
We are comrades in arms, are we not?
Gilles, that's wonderful.
We leave tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Oui. The Marquis de Lafayette, he does not waste the time. Come, we must celebrate. It is our last night among the ladies. We must make the most of it. On y va!
After his return to Philadelphia, Judson Fletcher devoted himself to his work in Congress as he awaited news from Boston.
Dearest Judson, I'm most pleased to tell you that we now have a daughter, a fine, healthy child, whom I've named Elizabeth. Everything is well with all of us here, and in the spring we should be able to come to you at last in Philadelphia. Take care of yourself, my darling. We will both be with you soon. All my love, Peggy.
My dearest Peggy, the situation here in Philadelphia gets worse by the day. Considering conditions in the countryside, the trip would be most dangerous. In addition, the city could fall to the British at any time now. Much as I long to see you and Elizabeth, I am happier at the thought of you both safe in Boston until such time as the situation improves. Until then, we will both have to be content with the knowledge that our love will survive this separation, as it has everything else. Your Judson.
Oh, soon, darling. Soon.
After an inconclusive series of maneuvers across New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania, Washington was beaten at Brandywine in September and at Germantown in October. Philadelphia fell to the British, who had occupied New York the year before. In December, the exhausted army took refuge at Valley Forge. It was to prove to be a long, cold winter.
I don't know about you, but I joined up to fight, not to freeze to death or starve. I don't know how much longer we can hold out here.
As long as we have to, I suppose. Besides, where else is there to go?
Home. There's a lot doing it every day.
It's desertion, F.
So is dying of fever, of starvation. Somebody sure sounds mad out there.
Guess we better see what it is.
Might as well. Ain't much colder out there anyway.
The extent of our desperation.
What we've seen so far is distressing and unbelievable filth, General. Conditions here are beyond belief.
Corrective measures must be taken, and swiftly.
Corrective measures, sir. Why don't you gentlemen in Congress take some corrective measures? Why don't you hire honest teamsters instead of cheats who drain the brine from the salt pork barrels to lighten the load and deliver us rotten meat? And why can't you find men to draw accurate maps? You know that half the supplies we're sent never arrive because the drivers get lost for want of proper directions. And they finally dump the grain sacks, and my men are starving.
Yes, your criticisms are fully merited. The Congress is aware.
I don't give a damn if they're aware. I want to know what's being done to change things.
Even the congressman himself.
F. Philip. Been a long time.
It appears politics agree with you, Judson. It looks awfully good to me, F. What do you think?
Bad as a cat, twice as sassy.
More than I can say for the both of you. You both look like hell.
It's fashionable around here, Judson.
That's why we came. See what needs doing. And more supplies are coming. We got to keep this army together, or we're all lost.
Right. Now, where's the German officer I was promised for my staff?
Baron von Steuben is having his credentials examined by one of our committee.
Go to the devil with your committees. I've heard his credentials are more than satisfactory. They're eminent. Now, I want him in this camp with suitable rank and ready to assist me. I need someone to teach these men proper military drill. At least they can learn something while they're starving to death.
We shall do everything possible to expedite the situation.
That winter, the countryside was frequently terrorized by roving bands of Tory irregulars. One of these bands was led by John Waverley, whose hatred for Judson Fletcher had turned him into a fanatical Tory.
All right, men, fall in! Attention!
Lieber Gott, sollen die Soldaten sein?
Einen Schritt vorwärts! Marsch!
Somebody ought to tell them to speak English.
Well, that would make a lot of sense.
Maybe you don't know how.
Un pas en avant! Marchez!
Je vais avoir besoin d'une patte. Parlez-vous allemand?
Je ne parle que le français et l'anglais, monsieur.
Well, at least the captain understands him, I think. Can't even speak English. That's going to be our drill master.
Shh, he'll hear.
Maybe, but he won't understand.
Dum Kopf dort! Als Maul, wenn du Formation bist! Dites à ce groupe de pouillons aériens que je suis leur maître d'entraînement et que c'est moi qui vais les entraîneurs. Si c'est toutefois possible, ce dont je doute fort. Car je trouve que tout ici est impossible. Ça me sent sans espoir, je le crains.
Ben, the general wants me to tell you that he is going to undertake your training personally.
Nous commençons par l'entraînement au mousquet.
The first thing the general wants to see you do is the drill for loading and firing your musket. Ready? Step 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 17. 18. 19. 20.
Incroyable.
Jeune majeur-vous de ma vie. Tant mollesse, tant talentueux. C'est étonnant que vous ne soyez pas déjà tous morts. C'est pire que ce que j'ai jamais pu voir.
All right. The general wishes me to inform you that in his opinion, that was the most slovenly, time-consuming drill he has ever seen.
Nous le pourrons.
In any part of the world.
De ma vie entière.
In his entire life.
Nous allons faire l'entraînement au mousquet en 10 temps. Je vais vous montrer.
All right, men, listen up. The general wants to introduce you to a new musket drill. It will require only 10 counts instead of 20.
10 count. Knock them redcoats off in half the time. Hey, he ain't getting off his horse.
He can't do that. He's a general. He's doing it.
Also! Attention! Eins! Zwei! Drei! Vier! Fünf! Sechs! Sieben! Acht! Neun! Zehn!
Damn, he did it in half the time.
Also, komm. Eins! Acht! Zwei! Dampf! Verdammte Dampf! Also. Eins! Zwei! Nein, 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 nein! Komm! Êtes-vous tout aussi amputés, maladroit? Bien, mon cher mon ami. Sacre nom de Dieu. Damn the gaucheries of these imbeciles. Also, komm. Eins! Acht!
We'll try it once again. Prepare to load. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5,
musket drill, new marching formations which would allow the regiments to enter or retreat from a battle zone in an orderly fashion, bayonet drill, and discipline were all introduced by Baron von Steuben. Supplies improved, soap became available, and the men washed their clothes as well as themselves. Although they did not know it at the time, this was the real birth of the American Army, which was ultimately to win the war.
By the way, Gilles, I heard Baron von Steuben was now going to train the mules.
I must confess I was wrong about that pompous Prussian windbag. Von Steuben really knows his business.
Once in a while, we in Congress get lucky and do something right.
Once in a while.
I must say, Gilles, you certainly know how to live. This is the best meal we've had in months.
Just because we are trapped in this wilderness is no reason not to live in a civilized manner.
And I thought the army was starving to death. What is this we had for dinner?
Char rôti à la Lafayette avec sauce soubise, my own recipe.
Char rôti?
That's French for roast cat.
It comes of being a politician, Judson. If you had spent the whole winter with us, you would think it a delicacy.
Gilles is right. Being a winter soldier is certainly no prize, and as F said, I joined to fight, not to starve or freeze to death.
Getting restless, Philippe? Good. Then maybe you are just the officer I need.
Need for what, Jill?
General Washington has urgent dispatches for General Gates in the north. You will, of course, need an escort. It is not too safe to travel alone through the countryside these days. Would you care for the assignment?
Would make for a change. How many men do you suppose we'd need?
Yourself and 10 men.
Make it an even dozen. I'd like to go along, too.
Oh, wait a minute, Judson. That's preposterous. You're a civilian, and besides, your leg.
It doesn't take a genius to realize you don't need 2 good legs to ride something with 4. And, General, would you remind the mere captain not to argue with a rather important member of Congress? It's definitely not politic.
Philippe, I'm afraid you have little choice. Que Dieu te bénisse.
Anyway, Judson, listen to me. If we should run into any trouble, just remember you're a civilian, please. If I get a congressman shot up, Washington will have my hide.
You always did worry too much. The British are all holed up nice, snug, and warm for the winter. And we're too big a party for marauders to attack. There'll be no trouble.
Well, let's hope not.
Just the other side of that ridge.
They see you?
No, not a chance. They were moving the other direction.
That's curious. Maybe I better go have a look for myself. Y'all stay here. Show me.
It's him. I got him.
What you gonna do?
Send that devil Judson Fletcher to hell. I finally got him. Give me a musket.
Don't do a crazy thing like that. There are too many of them for us.
I don't care about the rest of them. All I want is one shot. Just one shot.
All you do is warn them and get us killed in the bargain.
Yeah, maybe you're right. We'll follow them till they make camp for the night.
Judson, after this war is over, I think I'll finally be going back to Boston to my own printing house. I made a partnership with Sam Gill, the man who apprenticed me.
I'll be going back to Sermon Hill. Place probably gone to hell in my absence.
You sound like you finally decided to settle down.
Yeah, finally. Well, I got a reason to now. See, I'm gonna be down.
Don't anybody move. You're surrounded. I could shoot you right now. Except for the fact that you're gonna hang in the morning as a rebel.
Fall back in the tree!
Just when everything was going right. For the first time. Philip. Tell her I loved her. Very much. Take care of her, Philip.
Promise me. Promise me you'll take care of them.
I promise you, Judson, but you gotta tell me who.
It wasn't even the war. It's a private fight. My father told me.
There's not anything much more you can do for him now. But the rest of us sure have a problem.
They've got us all bottled up in here. The only way they can attack is across that clearing there.
If they got a choice, we ain't. The horses are on their side. They can run them off and leave us here to starve.
But I guess we'll have to just go out there after.
All right, men, who's for it?
We all go. Won't we?
Yeah! Fix bayonets.
Take the left side. We'll take the right. Sergeant.
Let's move, men. Here they come.
All right, lad, hold this in your mouth. When I tell you to bite down, bite down. Hold him. Bite down. Hold on. Yes, I got it. All right. Nice and clean, all in one piece.
His leg permanently crippled by his wound, Philip Kent was discharged from the army and sent home. He would be unable to continue to serve the cause of liberty.
Remember, you must distribute the ink evenly, or the print is likely to smudge.
Philippe!
Gilles, what brings you to Boston?
I sail for France tomorrow, but I had to see you before I left.
You were going home?
Oui, on a mission, a very important mission. But I will be back as soon as I am able. But you, how are you?
Working, as you can see. It's my original trade.
Less ink on the center end and more on the perimeter of the block.
Very distinguished trade, too. Dr. Franklin, I believe he began life as a printer, did he not?
He did. But it was in a better time, Jules. There are not so many more important things that needed to be done.
You miss the war, then?
I do what I can. Right now, we're busy publishing a collection of Thomas Paine's work. Maybe of some use to the cause.
It will be of great use to the cause. But why are we standing here like this? I wish you to take me to your home. I wish to see your son along
Let me
the
get my coat. I'll be back shortly, gentlemen. Remember, we have a deadline to meet.
Anyway, Gilles, after Sam Gill died last year, I found myself with Kent and Son, just as I'd always hoped. Except that it's turned out to be an empty accomplishment. I get very little joy from it.
Do you also get little joy from your son? He is truly a fine boy. You can be very proud of him. Very proud.
Some refreshments for you, your grace.
Oh, please, Mrs. Brumple. Anybody who has been through Valley Forge as we have, he has little need for such elaborate courtesy. Besides, your grace is what your English friends call their dukes.
Whatever you say, your sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Brumple.
I will never understand why you Americans who do not believe in titles are so impressed by them.
There are many things that Americans do not understand about themselves, Jules.
Mon Dieu, you are such a gloomy one.
I have little enough to be happy about.
If you have no thought for yourself, have a thought for this child. You will pardon me for saying so, but this black mood of yours, it is intolerable. It is,
I told you, Jules. I've been busy with the Paine book.
You need a woman.
We have a woman, Mrs. Brumple.
She is a housekeeper.
She is all the boy needs.
He needs a father who will give him some love and compassion rather than the gloom of a cripple.
I don't need your lectures, Jules.
Pardon. Pardon. Here I am. It is my final night in America, and I argue with my dearest friend. I have a fine dinner to go to, which is being given in my honor, and it will all be spoiled by my friend's glum spirit.
I am not trying to ruin your damn supper party.
Then you will accompany me this evening.
I couldn't possibly, Gilles. I told you I have work.
Then you do intend to spoil my last night in America. A toast to a great general, General Washington.
It seems we meet again.
We have met, sir, but it was not by choice. And we have never been introduced. You'll excuse me.
Excusez-moi, ladies. But may I introduce myself? I am the Marquis de Lafayette.
General, you need no introduction. All of Boston knows you. I'm Mrs. James Harris.
I am your servant, madam.
May I present my niece, Peggy Ashford McLean.
I'm honored, General.
Oh, the honor is all mine. And may I introduce my closest friend, Mr. Philip Kent.
How do you do, ladies?
Excusez-moi. Mrs. Harris, could I have a moment of your time, please? And Philip, could you keep the young lady company until I return?
It'd be my pleasure, Gilles.
Bon.
Is the General really your best friend, Mr. Kent?
If he wasn't before, ma'am, he certainly is now.
Yes, he certainly handled that very neatly.
The French are quite good at such things.
I suppose they are. What business are you in, Mr. Kent?
Printing. I own a print shop in Boston. As a matter of fact, I'm currently publishing a collection of Thomas Paine's work.
How interesting. Mr. Paine certainly made a fine contribution to bring all our people together. I'm sure it will do well.
I hope so, ma'am. Politics, they interest you, do they?
My husband, my late husband, was a member of Congress, and I knew several other members of the Virginia delegation.
Did you by chance know a Mr. Judson Fletcher? We served together. He was a very fine man.
Yes, I believe I did know him. And you're right, Mr. Kent. Judson, Mr. Fletcher was a very fine man indeed.
Mrs. McLean, forgive me, but I must ask you something.
Mr. Kent...
Please. It's quite important to me. Would you sit down?
Well?
During our expedition to Fort Ticonderoga and afterwards, Judson often spoke to me about a girl he loved very much. When I first met him, he was in constant despair about her, because he lost her through his own stupidity. But then towards the end, everything changed. He looked forward to a future they would share together. Forgive me for prying, Mrs. McLean, but I must know. Were you that girl?
And if I were?
Don't fence with me, please. You see, Judson died saving my life.
Then you were there when it happened?
He died in my arms.
Did he suffer much?
No. It happened very quickly. But before he died, he asked me to make him a promise. A promise I've never been able to fulfill until now.
Judson and I were to have been married after my daughter was born. But he was afraid for me to travel to Philadelphia. He wrote that he would come to me here in Boston as soon as he could. But he never did.
I believe he was on his way to you when it happened. His last thoughts were of you. He said to tell her I love her very much. Then he asked me to take care of you. But before he could even tell me your name, it was too late. Mrs. McLean, I'm finally able to fulfill my promise to Judson. If there's anything I can ever do for you, if there's anything you need, you've but to call on me.
Yours is a warm and generous heart. I can well understand why you and Judson were such close friends. They're going in for dinner now.
Yes, I believe they are.
If you'd care to escort me, Mr. Kent.
I would be most honored, Mrs. McLean.
On the 19th of October, 1781, Lord Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown. The 6-year war for American independence was, to all purposes, won. On that same day, Peggy McLean and Philip Kent were married in Boston. Philip and Peggy's children were destined to grow up with a new nation.